And there was one other thing I heard a 49er say that caught my attention, sort of, on mic but off mic. It wasn't a depressor situation. It was Fred Warner, who always leads kind of that team celebration in the locker room after the game. Yeah. And I wonder if you heard what he said. And I'd love for all of us can translate this. This is totally up for interpretation. But Fred, okay, man, bring it in. And he goes, I think we learned our lesson.
Wow.
What do you think he meant?
He meant that, they were probably looking at their press clippings a little bit, and they were probably thinking about what we all talk about, and we can talk about it because we're fans. We're not playing, but the 1 seed and the Super Bowl and home field throughout and best Niner team ever and best defense we've seen since, fill in the blank. Is this defense the best defense the Niners have ever had? Blah, 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 blah. All that stuff. And they learned their lesson. And the lesson is you got to show up and you got to play hard and you got to know your fits and you got to be able to execute the defense no matter who you're playing.
That Dallas game, if we could go back and do it again, this is going to sound stupid, but knowing what we know now, I wish the Niners just won by 10. Because I really do think, and again, the list of what happened over those 3 weeks, I think is long. I think it's long. And it starts with just a couple of plays that, quite frankly, I think the Niners are 8-1 right now if you change 2 plays. If Jake Moody makes a field goal in Cleveland, and if Charvarius Ward holds on to a pick, or if Steve Wilkes never calls that play, whatever, the play before halftime to Jordan Addison in Minnesota, that's a little bit more of an opinion. Obviously, the Jake Moody one is fact. If that ball goes through, the Niners win the game.
Yeah.
But if those 2 plays change, I think the Niners are 8-1, and maybe we're having a completely different conversation. So, and then there's the injuries, Trent Williams, Deebo Samuel. We can have a conversation about 10 different things. But I do agree that what you just said is on the list. The Niners were so incredible against Dallas that I think a little piece of their brains went, oh, we are really good.
Yeah.
We're not just good. We're really, really, really good. And so, okay, the NFL goes through us. We are certified badasses. And then they didn't win a football game for a month. And so I do think that's what he meant. We learned our lesson because they looked like that same team again yesterday. So the message is, don't do it again.
Well, maybe the message is no clever undershirts with expletives written on them.
For starters.
I mean, if you want to talk about, feeling too good about yourself.
That's premeditated, though.
That's exactly right.
That happened before they beat Dallas.
But that speaks to the same idea of, we are it. We're the flavor. We're the sauce. Christian McCaffrey can't be stopped. Our rookie quarterback is amazing. Our team is, both sides of the ball. We got the QB whisperer and the laminated play sheet. We're the best thing going. We're 5-0. We just crushed America's team. And I flashed my clever little slogan on my undershirt. And then you go out to Cleveland and you lose a game that you probably shouldn't have lost. And you have a couple of guys get injured. And then Minnesota happens. And then Cincinnati comes in and shoves in your house. And now you go into the bye week at 5-3 with all these questions and questions about where your defensive coordinator is going to even sit or if he's going to be allowed to sit. All this in 3 short weeks.
Yeah. Get Kendrick on the phone. Stay humble.
Totally.
That's the message. Stay humble. And they know that. Come on. That game, every professional athlete says it all the time. This game will humble you. Well, okay, good. They got humbled. And they may have lost something in the process. We don't know yet. They may have. We may absolutely get to week 18 and go, that freaking field goal against Cleveland cost them a seed.
Yeah.
It may.
Well, we talked about last year in Denver and Jimmy wandering out of the back of the end zone and how that might have cost him a seed. And, every little moment when things are this tight and you don't want to go to Philadelphia and you'd rather not go to Detroit and Philadelphia. If you're the 3 seed and Philly's the 1 and you go to Detroit and you win, then you got to go to Philly and win. It's a short list of teams that have been able to go on the road and win 2 playoff games to get to the Super Bowl.
Totally. Although, I guess I was going to say the 49ers would have been one of them. But
they lost to the Rams.
They lost to the Rams.
Yeah.
Exactly right. Okay, you're listening to 95.7 The Game, KGMZ FM and HD1 San Francisco, always live on the free Odyssey app, Twitch and YouTube, powered by First NorCal Credit Union. It's Willard and Dibs, and we are taking your calls and talking out Niner football back on track. Dollar Bill. Hey, Dollar Bill, what you doing?
Happy Monday, boys.
Yes, it is.
What a difference a week and a debacle can make. One game of domination, and we go from, let's get our defensive coordinator on the sideline, which I thought was a huge difference in the game, other than the fact that they got Trent Williams back, Debo back, and added a tremendous force on the edge, Chase Young, added to the squad. I think that was the difference in the game, really. Obviously, you're just maybe noticing a little bit of my sarcasm. But no, you know what? It was a great win. It was a great win on all sides of the ball: offensive, defensive, special teams. If I may, I would even say, dare I say, it was a domination sensation.
That's a buck.
It was.
It's a dollar, Bill.
Yes, you dare. Dollar. I think that's completely fair, don't you?
You know what? I just think that now we can go back to Super Bowl or bust train, Purdy for president. And, and it was dominating. I mean, it was really, really nice to see.
It was exciting. Yeah. Dollar Bill, thank you so much. It absolutely, now again, there's that Super Bowl or bust mantra.
Oh, we're back, baby.
We are.
Super Bowl or try again next week.
There you go.
Hip, hip, hooray.
Not try again next week.
Or try
Super
next year.
Bowl or try again. Just stop right there.
Just...
Super Bowl. I'm actually going to get a hat, and it's going to say Super Bowl across the front. But as I walk away, on the back, it's going to say, or try again. As I'm walking away.
You might catch an egg or a rotten tomato in the back of your head.
Yeah, the problem is you can't tell me I'm wrong because it's a factual statement.
Well, of course, they're not going to fold the franchise, Mark.
Well, no. And they're not going to fold any of the people
Super
involved.
Bowl or sell the team is a little bit catchier.
No, we got a different team in the Bay Area that needs to sell the team.
Huh.
But
they got a better chance of winning the Super Bowl than winning the World Series.
Ain't that the truth?
Yeah.
But no, you know what that means. Super Bowl or bust means that
you're going to blow it up.
Yeah.
I'm totally with you.
Or I don't know, somebody's on the chopping block or whatever. Like, no, that does not exist right now. And I've already explained, I've already gone on my rant about how outside of injury designation, you can go ahead and mark down with your Sharpie that Brock Purdy will start week 1 next year. In addition to the remainder of any games that he's healthy to play.
Well, even if he has certain injury designations, almost all of which he could recover from. Look at Calamari, who came back from a torn ACL, and the kid looked good yesterday.
I was a little surprised they did that.
And you noticed that when they went to the goal line QB sneak, they brought in the tuna.
Clayton Tune.
Yeah, they brought in the tuna. No. Exactly. We'll go ahead and push you.
Stick your head in there, buddy.
Totally. Calamari. We're putting tuna in and taking out calamari. Seafood for seafood is what that was.
Pretty fishy there because I really thought
that's a 3.
I thought they would play the tanking game. I thought they were setting up to be like, oh darn, Kyler's just not ready.
140 they got to eat.
So
I think 140 million of dead cap.
Yeah, I understand. Like if we may for just a couple minutes on this. There are a few teams where you're like, okay, they stink, and they're going to draft one of the QBs. Hello, New England Patriots. That's what's going on there.
And the New York Giants are interesting.
Yeah, but they are the one that's financially probably a non-starter. Like they've
only got 20 more million that they have to pay Daniel Jones.
Yeah,
and then they can get out.
Right, but to draft a guy early to me is doubtful because of finances. And the Cardinals are another one that's sort of like it was going to be in the middle. And they sort of tipped their hand when they did that. They leaked all that contract stuff about Kyler. I was like, you're signing him, but you don't really like him. You don't love him.
But they signed him anyway.
I know, because teams feel like they have to.
Right.
They're like, what are you going to do? Let him go and just have Clayton Tune run around out here? You got to have a guy. So they go ahead and sign him, but they're not in love with him. So they were another one of the ones where I was like, I don't know exactly how you're going to play that. And then there are teams where it's like the Panthers, A, they don't have their pick, and B, they just drafted a guy. And then there's the Bears. The Bears are the other like really interesting one because they've got 2 early picks, and Justin Fields is still sitting there in the I'm not sure bucket. I don't know. So there's only one team out there for me that's like, you're going to have a really bad record, and I know you want Caleb Williams or Michael Penix Jr. or someone like that, and Bill Belichick is going to be your coach.
Well, the other sleeper, and this is one to keep an eye on, the Denver Broncos. And I know that they owe Russell Wilson still some money, but they need their future QB, and they need him bad.
They do. I don't know how bad their record's going to be.
They're 3-5 right now. They are. There's only 4 teams worse than 3-5. Arizona at 2-8, Carolina at 1-8, the Giants at 2-8,
and the Bears
the Patriots at 2-8,
and the Bears at 3-7, and the Packers at 3-6.
Well, Denver's 3-5 with a loss tonight. They're 3-6, so they're in that mix.
Yes, but they could win tonight. It's allowed.
Sure.
I know that no one thinks it's going to happen, but it's allowed.
Of course, it's allowed.
Yeah,
it's allowed. But and with this QB draft, and there are 6 first-round quarterbacks.
Oh, I mean, the Pac-12 has got
3 or 4.
They got at least 3 of them by themselves.
Yeah,
they got at least 3 of them. Yes, shout out Bo Nix. Mark is very excited in the other room.
Heisman favorite currently, by the way.
That's a fact. He should be. He's been fantastic, and he's had the fewest blemishes. And his only loss certainly wasn't his fault. They lost 113-112 in a game against Washington. Same thing for Penix. They're there every week. They're fantastic. So yeah, there's 3 right here on the West Coast.
Sure. And
then yes, there are more.
If you're Denver, you don't feel like you have to be number 1 to get a good quarterback. But I think going into next year's draft, it's interesting though, because a lot of the bottom feeders are teams that either for sure have their quarterback or think they might have their quarterback. Like Tennessee, are you going to be in the market for a quarterback?
Maybe like Levis is in a real fast.
Levis, yeah.
Let's see it. It's been I had a feeling after that.
Well,
first game,
4 touchdowns.
But he just kept throwing the ball up, and DeAndre Hopkins would adjust to it. And they're like, "This kid's amazing." It's like maybe. I don't think he's bad. He looks like he's got some good field presence, but I don't think he's amazing yet. But it's early, really early for him. So that's what I mean. To me, the Patriots are the only completely clean. We're not picking up Mac Jones' option. We hate him.
Well, the Jets is another interesting one.
Well,
because they are on the hook for A-Rod, and he is coming back. But you want to talk about hating your QB, and the other interesting one, Mark,
their record probably won't be bad enough. They could trade
and that's
up.
The same thing with the Raiders. The Raiders, they keep winning,
5-5,
dude. They're a threat. They're a playoff threat.
They're a threat. The threat to do what?
The threat to go 9-8 and completely blow their draft for next year.
I know, but 9-8. Yes, but 9-8.
That's what they're a threat to do. 9-8 is not getting it.
Get you there.
No, but and sorry, Spadoni, and he knows this. They're going to end up 9-8 and have like the 17th pick in the draft.
With how you feel right now, tell me the team that if they were playing the Niners tomorrow, you would favor them to win.
Philly. And I've said it all year.
But is the list longer than that?
I still would put Kansas City there.
You would?
Yep.
Okay.
And then after that, that's probably the end of my list. Buffalo should be, but their defense is injured and they're flawed. Miami, man, if you played that game on an ice rink or a basketball court, absolutely.
Yeah, I think the Niners would score at will against Miami.
I agree with that. And I think about Baltimore as an interesting team. I've watched a lot of Baltimore because I have Lamar Jackson on my fantasy team. So I've become and I like Baltimore. They run a lot of 21 personnel, and they do a lot of the things that the Niners do.
Yeah, that's going to be, in terms of Christmas night, good Lord. It's going to be a hell of a game.
They run their offense in many ways the way the Niners do in terms of sleight of hand. They run a lot of zone read, and their quarterback can pull it and keep it. Niners do more stretch and more play action off of that, but Lamar Jackson's had a good year throwing the football. Not elite, but he's had his best year throwing the football of his career. So Baltimore is another one that I'm gonna wait before I put them on my list, but they're close to my list.
Oh, they're
good. Yeah, they're physical too.
I agree. I think Baltimore is good. I think Cincinnati has the potential to be good if they get everything going. I thought they had it going, and maybe yesterday was just a blip on the radar. C.J. Stroud, man, he can really play. But Cincinnati, their defense was super disappointing in that game, and Burrow made terrible decisions down the stretch.
Yep.
And even with all that, if Tyler Boyd just hangs onto a ball that was going to hit him in the face, they would have won that football game. But be that as it may, they did not. Look, we can't forget Dallas. Dallas is a good team. I don't think they scare the 49ers just because of the history of what's gone on in that matchup. Detroit is a good team. I think there's plenty of good teams out there.
Yeah.
But I'm with you right now. The only game that if it were tomorrow where I wouldn't feel the utmost confidence, I guess has got to be those two teams. But I'd give the Niners, I'm not saying I'd feel confident about them either. You know what I mean? But we can open that up.
And we haven't said Detroit either.
I just mentioned that. Yeah. I mean, they're good. They're good.
Okay.
But you'd favor the Niners, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.